We want to take you back now to the tragedy at Camp Mystic and break down the legal fight around whether it can reopen this summer.
So a judge ruled that Camp Mystic's owners have to keep the damaged buildings untouched while a wrongful death lawsuit moves forward. Now, that lawsuit was filed by the family of a camper killed by the floods whose body has never been found. 25 campers and 2 teenage counselors were killed at the all-girls Christian camp in Kerr County when the Guadalupe River flooded last year during a historic downpour. The camp's director, Dick Eastland, was also killed in the flood. The Eastland family, which owns the camp, is facing lawsuits as some claim there was a lack of emergency response to the disaster. And this all comes as the camp awaits approval to potentially reopen this summer.
So let's bring in CBS Mornings correspondent Jason Allen now with us. He's live this morning with more context on this for us. Jason, you've been following each step of the hearing in Austin this week. A night watchman was called as a witness for the camp operators, but what details did he share exactly about the night of this flood?
Yeah, good morning. You're talking about Glenn Yankee, and he had been working there at the camp as a night watchman. He's a former Houston police officer and had worked in Ingram also as a police chief. I think probably the most harrowing part of his description of what happened that night was talking about being inside one of the cabins. And he described the way that the water was moving through the cabin and the way that some of these trunks were getting picked up and floated out. He said they would rush out the windows almost like you would see something rushing down a water slide at a water park. And he was having to try to hold all of these girls, this kind of flotilla of girls on floating mattress together to keep them from being sucked out the windows. He said it felt like forever. There was piles of fire ants floating around. He said the girls, he described them as heroes, doing everything that he asked of them in order to try to stay together in that cabin, and all of them surviving and being kept from floating out the windows.
I mean, that account alone, I mean, just sends chills running down your spine. The court also heard some emotional testimony from one of the co-directors of the camp, Britt Eastland. There was a bit of sparring on the stand about some evacuation plans and whether those plans that were in place were even sufficient. So can you share a little bit more about that moment and what you observed?
I can, and a lot of that questioning was toward what Dick Eastland had done in the previous years in order to prepare for something like this. And Britt was very defensive of his father. You know, he said, look, he had asked for things like sirens. He had asked for better emergency preparedness. The plaintiff's attorneys challenged and said, well, when he didn't get it, when there weren't sirens put in, what did he do? And Britt, again, defended his father. He said he did everything possible. He said he had an evacuation plan. He was challenged on that. So the evacuation plan didn't work. He said, well, this was the plan. Even if you didn't like it, this was the plan that we had in place for decades and the approved plan. And we saw the Eastlands throughout the week and other witnesses that were brought up try to continually make the point that they thought there was nothing additional that anybody could have done there at the camp to prevent what happened.
So, Jason, now we want to talk next steps and what's the plan moving forward. So we know that the judge decided to keep the temporary injunction in place that will preserve evidence there at the camp. But what's next in this case?
Well, what's next immediately is we know that Texas state legislators are going to visit Camp Mystic next week. Now, that is part of their own separate investigation into all-encompassing everything that happened with the floods last July. As far as these specific cases, the judge has set some hearing dates for a month from now. That's with the attorneys across all of these lawsuits. There's at least 5 of them, 5 civil lawsuits that have been filed. So they'll have hearings in about a month. Then they're going to start getting into some of the very difficult parts of these civil lawsuits, including depositions that may involve some of the girls who were at the camp, some of the survivors at the floods. This is going to be a difficult process that carries on for the next year. They've set some tentative trial dates beginning next year, again, just in these civil lawsuits that are proceeding.
Yeah, I mean, it's been some powerful testimony and also some eye-opening testimony for sure. Jason, thank you so much.